Hi guys, welcome back to another one of my videos, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at my 11 iPhones, what I've had to do to fix them up or how I came to get them in the first place, and just stuff like that. So as you can see, I have a lot of iPhones, and to the left there is an iPod as well. I thought I'd just include that in the video. As you can see, this is my iPod Touch first generation. I did do a video on this, so if you want to check that out, all the links to the iPhone playlist, which will cover most of these phones, and also this iPod video will be down in the description. As you can see, it's running iOS 2.2.1, or should I say iPhone OS 2.2.1, and you can see that it's got various apps and games that I've downloaded from iTunes, and it's got some music loaded on there. Sometimes this iPod doesn't actually want to turn on for some reason. I'm not too sure why, so I just have to connect it to the charger and then leave it for a while and it will turn on. So I just picked this up from eBay. You can see there's something with the screen there. I'm not sure if that's just a bit of moisture or something, because it's been quite cold lately. The first phone I'm going to look at is the iPhone first generation. You can see here that it's fully working and everything. Now, if I go into settings here, you can see that it's a little slow because it's quite old. This thing's over 10 years old now, so as you can see there's a bit of lag there, but you can see that it is running iOS 3.1.3, which is the latest version that this iPhone supports. I've got also some games and some apps installed on this phone as well, the same ones as on the iPod. I've also loaded the same music and songs and all that onto this iPhone as well. I don't really use this obviously because it's quite old and doesn't actually work in my country anyway because it's locked to AT&T, but you can see that it is a bit scratched. It's got a few dents in it, but it does work and it is a good phone. It was the first iPhone, so it's something to look back at. It's something that you must have if you have an iPhone collection, is the first generation. I don't have its original box, which is kind of a downer, but okay, so this is the iPhone 3GS. I don't have an iPhone 3G. I'm planning to get one of those, but this iPhone was originally purchased by my sister and then was sold to my mum, and then my mum gave it to me. At some point, it's either been through the wash or something because it has water, like evidence of water in the display, but it still works just fine, and it was used for years after that incident, which must have been with my sister. And it is running iOS 6.1.6. You can see the design of the iPhone 3GS is the same as the 3G, even though I don't have a 3G. To compare them, there are minor differences, but you can see that it's relatively thin for its time, and is quite nice. Now this was my first ever iPhone. This was the first phone I ever got, this exact iPhone 4. Now, it was running iOS 5 when my brother dropped it, smashed the screen, smashed the back of it, and he ended up upgrading to the iPhone 5, which he later also gave to me, but I no longer have that phone. Anyway, it's running iOS 7. It was updated when he reset it, so I never actually saw the speed of iOS 5 on this thing. I did jailbreak it, and it does have Cool Booter on there, so it is dual booted with iOS 6 as well, which is kind of cool, kind of neat. It's just a bit of a phone I play around with, some jailbreaking things and stuff like that. But overall, I don't really use it anymore because it's quite slow and old. But I also think it has something wrong with the sound, but I've never actually used it as a phone, so I've never been able to test that out. My SIM isn't compatible with these older SIM card trays. Now you can see I did replace the screen on this, but it was a really cheap one. It was my first screen replacement job I ever did on an iPhone. It all went well and everything, but the screen was very, very bad quality, so I'll have to change that once again in the future. Moving along, we have one of the 5Cs that I did buy. The other 5C I no longer have, but this iPhone 5C, this is the 32 gig iPhone 5C that's running iOS 9.2.1, which is jailbreakable if I wanted to jailbreak it. I'm not probably going to jailbreak it, but you know, it is on a firmware that is able to be jailbroken. New screen, and I put a new dock connector in it as well, which doesn't actually work. I can't charge the phone anymore, so that's kind of pointless. So I have to change it back to the old one, and you can see that it says searching up the top. I haven't been able to fix that. That's why I got the new dock connector in the first place. But yeah, that one's faulty. So I'm not sure if the new dock connector will even fix the searching issue or not. So I'm going to have to look into that in a later video. This is the phone that I used to use, the iPhone 5S 32 gig running iOS 10.3.1. Before I upgraded to the iPhone 7, You can see that it's still got all of my stuff and everything on it that I had before. The Touch ID sensor is broken. It was damaged, the home button actually come loose and was moving around, so it actually ripped the cable from the original screen, which was smashed, so I replaced that. And it's pretty beaten up, but I got it for free off of my cousin, so she got the SE, I'm pretty sure, so she just gave me that one to do up and use. The next phone I got, about a week before I got the iPhone 7, was this iPhone 6, 64 gig, also running iOS 10.3.1. Now, I am planning to put a new screen on it. The Touch ID doesn't work, and it's also not picking up any service, which is fine because I'm pretty sure that one's an antenna issue because it detects the SIM, and it just says no service, so I'm almost certain that that's just going to be the dock connector and isn't going to be a board level problem or anything like I'm starting to think the iPhone 5C is. You can see that it is got some light scratches and some spotting, as I like to call it, on the back, and a little dent near the Apple logo, but it does work alright, and if I get it up and going, I'm probably going to sell it to my mum because she wants to upgrade from her iPhone 5C. On the left, we have this iPhone 5. Now, this isn't the iPhone 5 my brother gave me, as the iPhone 5 my brother gave me was 16 gig. I replaced the housing on that, did that phone up and sold it because it was only 16 gig, and I brought this phone with the money, which is a 32 gig iPhone 5. Now, that was the phone I used before the 5S, if you were wondering. And its current uses right now were to record my YouTube videos. This is the phone I record my YouTube videos on, but now I'm thinking of using my iPhone 7 for most of my videos that obviously don't include the iPhone 7 in the actual video, because it has a much better camera. Now, this iPhone is an iPhone 4, fully custom. This is actually 24 karat gold plated, so it's one of a kind. It needs a new screen because the one on there is rubbish and the bottom of the screen doesn't work. As you can see, they're trying to tap on general. It is running iOS 7, but I'm going to be replacing the logic board and the screen and everything. So it's going to be a totally new phone, and I'm trying to get a 32 gig iPhone 4 running iOS 4 to put inside of this. So it's 24 karat gold, transparent back, iPhone 4 running iOS 4. That would just be amazing. So that's why I haven't actually done this up yet. Now, the transparent back is actually from my iPhone 4. I did replace the smashed back with a transparent one, but I later transferred that over to the 24 karat gold plated iPhone 4. Now, this is an iPhone 4S 16 gig that's running iOS 8.1.1. Now, it doesn't have a battery at the moment because the battery I put into another phone, and the screen was, the touchscreen didn't work, and the back was swapped over with another 4S over there. So this is actually a back of the 8 gig iOS 6 4S. Now, this phone does work, it's iCloud unlocked and everything. Now, a story behind this phone is I brought it 4 parts for the 8 gig iOS 6 iPhone 4S because it had a password on it or whatever. Anyway, I put a SIM card in it. Turns out that the phone was lost, and I called the guy, and he said he lost it about a year and a half ago. He said he no longer wanted the phone. I offered to send it to him. He said, nah, keep it, I don't want it anymore. He removed it from his iCloud account, so now I have an iPhone 4S running iOS 8.1.1. It just needs some parts, so I'm going to look into doing that in the future. The next phone is an iPhone 4S 16 gig, which is in amazing condition. I got this for free as well off of one of my brother's friends. I did have to replace the dock connector and the headphone jack volume control assembly. That's running iOS 9.3.5, and the cracks in the top there are actually just a screen protector on top. It arrived broken, so I just put it on there anyway. The actual screen underneath is not cracked at all. Next up is the iOS 6 8 gig iPhone 4S. Now, this was running iOS 9.2.1. I jailbroke it and downgraded it to iOS 6. So I'm planning to get an iPad 2 running iOS 9.3.4 and downgrade it to iOS 6 and make a video on that. Now, the only problem is you cannot use a SIM card anymore. It detects the carrier and everything, and then it just goes no service, and you can't do it, which is a bit of a pain, but it is nice to have a device running iOS 6, especially the 4S, because it's so fast. It's a very early OS for this phone. This phone has some light scuffs and scratches on it, but nothing too major. The screen was totally smashed, the LCD was cracked even, the battery had expanded, the back was smashed. That's the one on the 8 gig at the moment. That's that back from this phone. So I completely redone it, new dock connector, everything like that. So it was a bit of work, but it turned out just fine. Now I've actually switched over to my iPhone 5 to record my iPhone 7. I do have an iPhone 7, that's what I've been recording this video on this whole time. So you can see here that it is running iOS 10.3.1 and it is the product red edition. It's 256 gigs. I just got this about a week ago. So go ahead and check out the video. The video will be in the iPhone playlist, which will be linked below, where there's going to be plenty of videos on all these phones that I've just shown you today. As you can see, I have a lot of iPhones. Some of them I'm probably going to sell, some of them I'm probably going to keep. I'm not too sure yet, but they're running various versions of iOS and various storage capacities. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want more videos just like this one, or want to check out any of the phones in this video, go ahead and check out the iPhone playlist. I have plenty of videos on iPhones in there. Thank you guys for watching. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys next time, another one of my great videos.